You must adopt this the dignity policy. No, you don't. If you were the 90% that didn't do it the first time, why all of a sudden do you have to do it the second? And do you even know what it says? Because the first version, if you didn't know, there was a first version in September that came out, actually had properly written, Troxel v. Granville, parents informed, boom, into conversation. Had bathrooms, properly done, boom, 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 boom. So then you get to the second one. Supreme Court, this requirement is, of course, subject to laws. Here's the thing, guys. Virginia code can never override federal constitutional common law. And having to explain this to people, so right there, the requirement is, of course, subject to laws. No, federal law, which is common law, becomes constitutional law. That's how parental rights got there in the actual Constitution. 100 years of Supreme Court cases, Parham v. J.R., Troxel v. Granville, sisters, I mean, it goes on and on. That's how common law, but you can't understand common law with Constitution without common law. So no, a but for a state code can never come after Supreme Court law. Because what they did right here was, this requirement is subject to the laws that prohibit disclosure of information to parents in certain circumstances, including, for example, prohibiting parental contact where student is at imminent risk of suicide to parental abuse and neglect. They all claim they're going to be abused if you tell my parents and I'm suicidal, if you've never watched a school. Yeah, says who? The child. It eliminates parents again. Yes. No, is that it? So this is one. Because they all say that they're suicidal and they're going to get abused. If your child says it's your no. Correct. 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 And that's why is that he's about to sit at his banquet of consequences because. No, it's 14th Amendment, due process, boom. Like, I'm filling it out. I mean, and Youngkin didn't write it, but he's allowing it. It's called mobocracy. When you allow chaos to continue like this, it's actually a form of tyranny. And then here, schools to serve is that the one thing you have to understand is right here. Straight children will have to opt out. Under the old policy, they could find a bathroom wherever they wanted. What does that look like? And why are we applauding a governor on what he ran on that now our straight children have to opt out? And then ask yourself, what happened between here, see, not here, here, the ACLU, yet again, the JCAR hearing, pandered the ACLU, that's what happened. But anybody, when Governor Youngkin or them are saying, you have to, no you don't. I live in a county, I've known this stuff for 2 years now. Mark Herring's assistant AG, July of 2021. There's no enforcement mechanism within the model policy statute, meaning there's no punishment for a school board if they fail to pass the inclusive policy. So I'm telling my school board, don't do it. Because what is it going to look like? Excuse me, it's time for all straight children to line up in the hallway to go to the bathroom? There's too many questions left. And to think that you can just dismantle what the damage has been done in a policy, it gives parents the false sense of security when they've never actually read it. Will the state come after the school board's funding if they don't pass these policies? No. So Lisa Coons here, good God, bless her heart. Codified in the statute and therefore is the law of the land. No, ma'am, the only law of the land is the Constitution of the United States. To come into my state and quote James Lane, who was Northam's, is dumb, first of all. But I had my mind blown when she literally used the word law of the land. First of all, it was a legislation handed to develop a model policy. They did such. But listen to his words.
There was a specific bill that was passed by the General Assembly in the previous General Assembly and signed by the previous governor that made it very clear that when it came to the model policies for transgender children, the governor is to write model policies, and the local school boards are to adopt policies consistent with the model policy. It's a very different approach in what the constitutionally historical approach has been between state government and local governments. And that's why the Attorney General didn't come out last.
Okay, is there any other way than constitutionally done? No, there's not. Like, there's no, we're going to do this a little bit more creatively than the normal constitutionally way. No, the answer is no. There's no other way. It's unconstitutional, is what he just said. But then the governor does not write anything. The law literally says the Department of Education is to create model policies. And I was like, so that could just be him being dumb. But the fact that, we're just going to kind of do it a little bit differently than the constitutionally. But what you should have heard, different than the constitutionally way, the state governs the localities. Because Virginia is very different. And I'm working with 7 school boards to reclaim your autonomy. That means standards of learning. That means you take back what your specific community needs.